This is a Samsung Galaxy, one of the best-selling smartphones on Earth. Designed in Korea, assembled by Samsung, sold by Samsung. But the single most important part inside it, the processor, the brain of the phone, Samsung did not make. A company on a small island, about 900 miles away, made it instead. And here is the strange part. Samsung is bigger. It has more money, more factories, and more engineers than its rival. Yet for 20 years, it has been losing. This is the story of the most expensive rivalry in modern technology, Samsung versus TSMC, and why the giant keeps coming in second. To understand how one-sided this has become, look at the numbers. The business is called Foundry, companies that manufacture the chips other people design. By most industry estimates, in early 2026, TSMC controlled about 72% of that market. Samsung, around 6.5%. A year earlier, Samsung had over 11%, so its share nearly halved. In a single quarter, TSMC earned roughly $36 billion. Samsung's Foundry made about $3 billion, a gap of 11 to 1. And here is the cruelest detail. This all happened during the biggest chip boom in history, powered by artificial intelligence. Demand exploded, and Samsung's slice got smaller. Much of what kept its factories busy was not cutting-edge AI silicon. It was the chip inside a game console, the Nintendo Switch. So what went wrong? The first answer is a gamble that failed. Making a modern chip means carving circuits just a few nanometers wide, thousands of times thinner than a human hair. Around 2022, Samsung made a bold bet. It jumped first to a new transistor design called GAA, gate-all-around, at the 3-nanometer node, beating TSMC to the technology. It should have been a triumph. Instead, it became a nightmare. The yield, the share of chips that come out working instead of broken, collapsed. Reports put Samsung's second-generation 3-nanometer yield near 20%, when a healthy factory needs around 70. 1 in 5. Customers ran. Qualcomm, which builds the Snapdragon processors inside millions of phones, handed its orders to TSMC. Even the Snapdragon inside Samsung's own Galaxy flagship was built by the rival. Being first meant nothing, because being reliable meant everything. But bad yields are only half the story. There is a deeper reason, one that money cannot fix. Think about who Samsung is. It does not just manufacture chips. It designs its own. It builds phones, televisions, and appliances that compete directly with the very customers it wants to serve. Now imagine you are Apple or Nvidia. Would you hand your most secret chip design to a company that also sells a rival product? TSMC's founder understood this decades ago. His company makes chips for everyone and competes with no one. That is its real fortress, not just better machines, but trust. Samsung, by its very nature, can never fully offer that promise. It is a supplier and a competitor at the same time. And in this business, that contradiction is very hard to escape. By now, you might expect Samsung to dominate somewhere. And there was hope. A second battlefield. AI chips need a special kind of memory, stacked in layers, called HBM, high bandwidth memory. Memory had always been Samsung's kingdom. But when the AI era arrived, a smaller Korean rival, SK Hynix, moved faster and won Nvidia first. Today, by industry estimates, SK Hynix supplies roughly 2/3 of Nvidia's newest HBM. Samsung trails in second again, and one image captured it all. In 2026, Nvidia's chief executive visited SK Hynix and wrote 4 words by hand on one of its memory wafers. Please make more. Not to Samsung. So there it was, beaten in manufacturing by TSMC and beaten in AI memory by SK Hynix. The giant, somehow, was finishing second in 2 races at once. So is the story simply that Samsung lost? Not quite. Because in 2026, 3 cracks of light appeared at the same time. First, Qualcomm came back. At the CES technology show in January, it confirmed talks to build its next flagship Snapdragon on Samsung's new 2nm process. The lost customer returning. Second, Tesla. Elon Musk signed a deal worth $16.5 billion for Samsung to build his AI chips in Texas. Nvidia may not call, but Musk did. Third, that painful 3nm gamble left Samsung with years of hard experience in GAA, the very technology TSMC is only now adopting. Its scars became a weapon, but none of this is certain. Samsung's 2nm yields are still reported below the level needed for smooth mass production, and Qualcomm could still walk away. This is why the next 2 years matter more than the last 20. The question is no longer just why the giant keeps losing. It is whether, this time, the giant finally fights back.